Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. A quick info before we begin. Today's video has two stories and both of them have updates. Now let's get started with the first one. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user Kagetachi. Me, 23 male, with my mother, 55 female. She wants to repair our relationship. I don't know what to do. My parents separated when I was 17. The reason was that my mother was unsatisfied with her life and started to plan to leave my father. She planned to buy another smaller house and slowly furnish it until she was ready to just go with me and my little brother, 9 at the time, and move in with her high school sweetheart who she had previously cheated on my father with. I knew about all of this and my mother made me promise not to say anything to my father. My father found out before she could actually do it. I was out of town at church camp and had just gotten back into town. Before I had begun to unload my luggage, I got a phone call from my father explaining what had happened and how he found out and asked if I knew. I broke down and told him everything. My parents began to race to get to me first. My father got to me and just asked me to ride with him and to let him tell me what was going on, and that after we would meet in a neutral place and I could freely decide on what I wanted to do. I chose to stay with my father. I hoped that if I decided that, my mother would come home and put this mess behind us. She didn't. The following 3 to 4 years were the roughest of my life. My parents constantly fought over everything: visitation, money, assets, and the family business. I tried to stay neutral through all of it, but my mother decided that I was a lost cause and began to treat me like my father. She would say horrible things about me. These things I shouldn't know, but I do because I read my father's copies of her motions to the court. Several times she accused me of being brainwashed and not knowing any better. She said that I had physically and sexually abused my little brother and that I was helping my father do the same. She even told me once to my face that I was disowned because I don't visit and love her anymore. She told my little brother that I hated her and didn't want to be a family anymore, that I didn't want to visit her. To me, my mom and her new boyfriend were a big part of why my family was broken. During the divorce proceedings, her side of the family treated me like I was filth for living with my dad and didn't talk to me. I sat in a small room in the back of the courthouse alone, waiting to testify what I knew. I never had to. Thankfully, they settled out of court. I was old enough, so I chose where to live. My brother has split custody. Now to my issue. My mother wants me to be a part of her life again. She wants me to visit multiple times a week and basically go on as if nothing had ever happened. I see her on all holidays like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, her birthday, and mine. I'm also 3 weeks from graduation from my local university and my father and I have worked hard to pay off student loans and take care of me. She has, in the past 5 years, paid a total of $2,000. She claims this was her way to repay her absence during her first 4 years of college. I visit now and then 1 to 2 times a month. Today was one such visit. She told me that I have 3 weeks. Then she expects to see me multiple times a week and for us to repair our relationship. She said that I needed to because I only have one mother and that because she is starting to get sick and disabled, I needed to be a part of her life. I told her that we would have to sit down and talk about this. Reddit, I'm torn. I don't know what to do. I want to be there. I want my mother to be a part of my life, but I'm afraid, actually terrified, that if I do let her back in, there will just be a repeat of things. I don't want to go back into those moments of my life. As of right now, I only go there for my brother. I know he's having a hard time dealing with all of this. What do I do? Oof, OP, the first thing you need to do is find a way to get your brother away from your mom and then you block your mom and her whole side of the family. That whole thing is toxic. Just check the language. She didn't say she wanted to be a part of your life. No, she wants you to be a part of her life. There's a huge difference and a red flag right there. But the other huge red flag is the emotional guilt she's trying to put on you that you need to do this because you only have one mother and she is starting to get sick and disabled, so you need to be a part of her life. No, you don't. I've said many times that I'm not a mental health professional, but I get the impression that this woman is a narcissist through and through. It's all about her and she doesn't really care about you, OP. She cares about how she can use you. And I'm not even gonna touch all of that crap that she said about you and your little brother and your dad. No, OP, you need to get your brother away from that woman, and then you need to block her and get her out of your life. Nothing good or positive can come from keeping any sort of communication with her. And what do you guys think about this whole situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Steve353 says, yeah, from your description, your mom hasn't changed at all. All she's talking about is how she needs to repair her relationship with you. She isn't considerate at all of what you need from her. Honestly, your mom comes off as a bit of a narcissist, and I think you'd fit in at r/raised by narcissists. Stop letting your mom force whatever relationship she wants onto you and set boundaries that your mom has to respect. If she wants a relationship with you, it'll be on your terms, not hers. Here's what you do. Figure out how involved you want your mom to be in your life, and once you do, set boundaries with her. If you don't want to see her, you don't have to. Any attempt to guilt you into having a relationship with her is emotional manipulation, which can be abusive. Stay strong, OP. Deleted says, quote, she said that I needed to because I only have one mother and that because she is starting to get sick and disabled that I needed to be a part of her life, end quote. There's no regret whatsoever in her request. No apology of any kind on how she effed up or for how terribly she treated you. I'd not try to re-establish contact. She will inevitably disappoint you. Martha Liberty says she is getting sick and disabled, so she wants you to take care of her? Nope, OP, she is trying to manipulate you. Stay low contact or even go no contact if she's too demanding. 3 visits a week demanded after she basically treated you like dog duty and then abandoned? In my opinion, what she sees in you now is your earning potential and how it can benefit her. And Teardrop87 says, honestly, you can tell her to take her desire for a relationship and shove it. You've seen the court documents that describe exactly what she said. You've heard what the rest of the family thinks, and she's done everything in her power to destroy you and your dad. She can take a long walk off a short cliff for all you care. So what if she's getting old and disabled? She should have thought of that before she did what she did. Doing so will probably result in you never seeing her again, but you don't sound like you want anything to do with her anyways. OP's edit. I spent last night emotionally wrecked. I slept only after I couldn't physically keep my eyes open, but your comments are so surprisingly on point. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. I will definitely update you as to what happens, but I will not let her take my life over. I am better than this. I need better. I know this is going to be a tough decision, but I'm tired of letting other people live my life. My mind is clear and made up. Alright, well, the community gave OP enough help that he opened up his eyes and he is ready to take action and not let other people live his life. So let's move on to the update to see what happened next and how the story ends, but of course before that, here's another one of my playlists for you to enjoy after this video. Now let's move on with the update. So I posted about a month ago about my mother who wanted me to reconnect and rebuild my relationship with her after I graduated from college. Here is the crazy update and conclusion to this. First off, thank you for your help and advice. It has been incredibly eye-opening and has given me the resolve I needed. Thank you. Well, a lot has happened in the last month, so I'll try to catch everyone up. I did finish classes, yet I missed the deadline to apply for graduation, so I'll officially graduate in the fall with my BA. Woo! After graduation, I sat down and I started to think about how I wanted to approach this and what I needed to say. My girlfriend decided that I was moping way too much and decided that we needed a vacation. So she and her family invited me to San Antonio with them to just get away. Long story short, I had a blast and it freed my mind from that depressing thought. The day we decided to start the long drive back, about halfway back, my mother called me. She asked what I was doing that Friday and Saturday. I responded that I had no idea, that I may be working on my car. She said she wanted me to be the last-minute DJ for my cousin's wedding. Mind you that my cousin hasn't talked to me unless she wanted my help with something or to chastise me for not already doing more for my mother, but not to send me an invitation to her wedding. I didn't respond and said maybe. I made it back to town and my mother called me the following day asking again. I wondered what exactly they needed. She got my cousin to contact me and she said they needed someone not to DJ but to press the play button at the right time. I politely declined, stating that I needed to get my car in working order so that I could get to work and back. My mother called me almost as soon as I got off the phone and tried to guilt trip me into going to the wedding, saying that my cousin started to break down and cry. I wasn't gonna have it, so yet again I declined. She, after being noticeably upset, promptly hung up. I didn't hear from her until the following Friday when she told me that my great uncle had passed away. Now, my entire family was close to this family. His visitation was Sunday evening. I serve as the college pastor at the church that I attend, and that particular night I was in charge of the evening service. So I dressed up fairly fancy for the sermon and the visitation after. Now, an important note is that my foster sister came with us to the visitation. My mom and sister do not get along due to some really bad history. We, my dad, brother, sister, and girlfriend, pull up to the funeral home and my mother is standing outside. My sister and dad walk by her with no comments or words. My brother and I stop and hug her. She says that I look nice. I said, yeah, I had to preach tonight. She stops right there and says in a really nasty way, "Thanks for the invite," and storms off. In the parking lot behind her is the man that she cheated on my dad with several times. I'm standing there, mouth open as she storms off, not really sure what just happened. Stunned, I walk inside and go through the visitation with no other incident. I get a text from her after saying that she is heartbroken that I broke my promise and that she finally sees who is more important to me, that she has tried and tried to earn my love and that she is tired of begging and slaving and will not beg anymore. I'm already tired and emotionally drained, so I just ignore it. The next day, she is talking to my little brother over the phone and he gets really quiet and starts to just say, "No, that's wrong," or "That's not what happened," etc. Now, my dad records all of his phone calls due to problems in court and accusations. It gives a clear and defined alibi in case it's needed. In that phone call, my mother is ranting about how horrible of a person I am, that thankfully she still has Bob, the guy she cheated with, in her life to help take care of her because your brother won't get off his lazy ass to come and help me like a real man would. It's okay though, he will get what's coming to him, he will. And I know this because I was curious and snuck my dad's phone away without him knowing and listening. There are other things, but that line made me stop. As of this moment, I am done. Should have done it a long time ago. I have not had any contact with her since then. I don't plan to anymore for any reason. Any gifts she sends for birthdays or graduations, I'll send back. I cannot have that toxic influence in my life anymore. I am 23 years old. I'm a grown man. I have a life to live and it's not hers. I can only hope and pray that someday it will change. Sadly, that day is not today. Well, OP, you know what? I'm gonna call it a happy update. It might not seem like it yet, but it is a happy day because you released that toxicity out of your life. Wow, your mom was a piece of work. She sucks. And Bob, by extension, you suck too. And you know you do. So here's wishing you all the best in the future, OP. You are right. You are a grown man and you have a life to live and it is yours. So go ahead and do it. Take care, OP, and thank you for sharing. Now, let's move on to the next post that, like I said in the beginning, also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user I Ruined My Life. Me, 37 male, with my wife, 34 female, of 11 years. Don't know if I should tell her my coworker tried to seduce me. I've never been in a situation like this before. I'm married to a very beautiful woman and I love her like crazy after all these years. We have 3 kids and another on the way. It's a girl, by the way. And I have no intentions of cheating or abandoning them ever. Now, here's the issue. I work with a woman, 32 female, and she is attractive, but I only ever considered us acquaintances. She's tried to flirt with me before, but I've shut it down and have told her numerous times that I'm married and to stop, so she has. Until yesterday, when she took the cake, really. My office is in an odd position. It's facing in a way where you can't exactly see who goes in. I was working and she came in and started asking me questions, nothing important, and just keeps going on and then asks about me. She started asking how my day was and if I was okay, and then she did something that still seems unbelievable even now. I turned around to look for a file in my drawer, and when I looked up, she had her clothes off. Yes, seriously. I asked her what the F she was doing, and she told me, "I know you want me," and tried to walk towards me. I told her to put on her clothes and get out, and after trying to get her out, she finally left. I'm really not sure what to do. Should I tell my wife? Should I just let it go? What should I do? Well, OP, here's what you don't do. You don't let it go. You tell your wife, you tell your manager, you tell HR, and you do it as quickly as possible. If you don't have any proof, then it's he said, she said. So I'm guessing the first to get to HR is going to be able to set that narrative. And I would suggest you do everything in your power to be that first person to tell the story. But deeper down to your question, OP, yes, you tell your wife regardless of what you did. If you pushed her away, if you just ran out of that office, it doesn't matter. You tell your wife, because it's better that she know from you that she get it secondhand from some comment or a joke at an office party. You did nothing wrong. You were a victim of sexual harassment and your coworker needs to face discipline for it. And what do you guys think about this whole situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Joker Lol says, yes, absolutely tell your wife. If you tell her you are nothing but a committed husband who another woman wanted to sleep with but who was faithful since he loves his wife. Don't tell her and you're the husband who hid things from his wife. If she finds out later, she'll likely wonder why you didn't tell her and whether it's because you're trickle-truthing her or you're actually like this coworker, etc. Duff Stoic says, definitely tell your wife. A friend of mine had a situation like this, and the woman ended up getting his cell phone number and sending him hundreds of texts about their imaginary relationship. He never responded to any of them and told her to F off, but she kept going, despite knowing he was in a relationship. Basically, this sort of unwanted sexual advancing can easily turn into stalking behavior. And at that point, you want your wife to know in advance that this woman is a stalker, not your lover. Fait Accompli says, tell HR, tell your wife. Tell your wife not only because she has a right to know, but so that she has a heads up if this woman decides to try to break up your relationship. If she's being this absurdly aggressive, she may well decide that you'd go for her if not married and decide to reveal to your wife an ongoing relationship or whatnot. Let your wife know as soon as possible. And Deleted says, this is sexual harassment. Inform HR and or management as required by your company's policies. If you have a wife and children that you want to protect, also known as not being unemployed, make sure to protect yourself. I am unmarried and don't have children, but I share these types of things with my girlfriend when they happened, and she does the same with me. I guess we find it kind of funny and hot that we are desirable by other people, however, we also have immense trust for each other. Additional information from OP's comments. There's nothing wrong with our marriage, it's just that I don't want to stress her out more. She's pregnant and takes care of 3 kids and has a lot on her plate. I don't want to add more if that makes sense. Also, I actually have a camera in my office and it caught the whole thing. And I do plan on reporting this to HR, so I don't think she can really make any crazy accusations. And yes, most of our offices have cameras and HR knows we have them. Well, OP, you should have started off with that. That camera thing is really important, cause yeah, now she can't do anything, you just report her and that should be it. So let's move on to the update to see what OP did and how the story ends. First, my wife and I just celebrated our 12th year anniversary. I took her on a nice dinner and we had a good time, but you don't want to hear that romantic crap. On with the update. So, where to begin? After my post, I decided to tell my wife after the kids were settled. I sat her down and I told her this woman had flirted with me in the past and has generally made me uncomfortable. I told her I didn't reciprocate any attention or flirting, but there was something I needed to tell her. I told her she came into my office and was talking to me and then took her clothes off. She asked if we did anything and I said absolutely not and I would never cheat on her. She then started laughing and said she must have wanted to make a smut film with me. My wife knows about the camera because she's brought me lunch before and saw it. We both laughed and she just told me she trusts me and is glad that she has a faithful husband. She took it better than I thought, but I was glad I got that off my chest, but I still had stuff to do. And about my coworker, I reported her. The video was reviewed and long story short, she was fired. She gave me the evilest looking stink eye anybody has ever given me in my entire life. I would like to say I walked out of there like a badass, but I still had paperwork to finish, so I had to work. But after I was done, I felt better actually. This felt like a weight on my shoulder. Side note for the people who want to hear about our romantic 12-year anniversary. So I knew our 12th-year anniversary was coming up, so this is what I did for her. I tried hard to remember where our first date was, and after looking at an old picture, I saw the name. I asked my sister if she could watch the kids, and I took her out for a special night. We had fun and she was really happy, and honestly, I am very happy with my life. We tried getting busy, but my daughter was being annoying and pushing into my wife's ribcage. She felt uncomfortable, so we stopped, and I'm kinda laughing about it now. Penis blocked by my own daughter. Well, there's the update. Bye! Well, OP, this is definitely a happy update, except for your sexy time, but other than that, everything went great. Your flirty coworker got fired, like she deserved, and your wife didn't believe anything, so your personal life is untouched. All is good, so here's wishing you the best in the future, OP. Thank you for sharing and take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.